Woohoo!
Happy birthday!
Hello.
It's someone's birthday out there.
It's definitely someone's birthday.
It's someone's birthday out there. Happy birthday to you.
Identify yourself if it's your birthday today.
Please. And Julia will sing you happy birthday in German.
Oh, yeah. Zum Geburtstag viel Glück.
Yeah. Pass the beer.
Not a haircut, just like intense bouncy curls. I don't really know what to do.
How did you do that?
With a machine.
She has a machine. You have a machine that goes
yeah.
bing.
Yeah. How's everyone doing today? It's so nice to see everyone in the chat.
Did anyone answer how they're doing?
No, they're just talking amongst themselves, as always, ignoring us.
Ignoring us.
So very rudely.
We'll just be in the corner Singeoing.
Singeoing. Yeah, it's great to see you all. We've got lots of people in the chat on YouTube as well, which is awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little bit of just talking about breathing today. We also have a whole bunch of really exciting announcements for you today. And we will show you the first one of 2 duet videos that we're just finishing.
Duet?
Yes,
Duet,
the last one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't get in on that, actually.
No, the last one, you were out of town. That's why. Just don't go out of town.
Yes, it's hard to stop that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Darcy referencing Monty Python is why I showed up. Did you? And did I miss it?
I did.
What did you say? Oh, no. What did you say?
What did we do on the intro?
I don't know.
It was definitely Monty Python. Yeah.
Oh, I missed it.
You know, we did a tour one time, and our crew had the script for The Life of Brian.
Oh.
By the end of the tour, I think I had it memorized.
Memorized?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Throw him to the floor, Centurion.
Oh, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be changing directions for the live show.
Today is about an ode to Monty Python.
It's going to be a monologue of Darcy reciting the entire script from The Life of Brian.
Yes. There's actually a lot to be said of that.
The machine that goes ping. Is that
that's right. We even have a machine that goes ping. Okay. That wasn't from The Life of Brian, though.
I knew there'd be enough Brits in the audience. Oh no, it's Paul with glasses. He's not even from the UK. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Paul with glasses would know that one for sure.
That's great. Okay. How have you been, Darcy?
You know, I've been well, thanks for asking.
Great.
Yes. This is the dark season for me, winter.
Yeah.
I don't do winter very well. And we live in an area that we don't get like snow and a terrible amount.
Right.
But we get dark and we get rain.
So much rain.
Oh,
usually.
it's
just a lot of wet and gross.
I have a psychologist. Yeah. Everyone should have a psychologist in the winter.
Psychologist and like one of those sunlight lamps and a lot of vitamin D.
It's terrible. I'm a sun person.
Yeah, it's hard.
I seek the sun, and summer's my thing. It's my jam.
Nancy had snow mid-October already.
Oh my
Mid-October,
gosh.
for some reason, we still had like 27 degrees.
Yeah, we had a good October.
It's very strange.
Yeah. October rocked.
Tim just got their first snowfall today. It's horrible.
Yeah, I scraped the windows this morning.
Yeah,
shivered in my boots. I'm a wimp for the winter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
But you know, we live in southern Canada.
I know.
Southwestern Canada. There's nowhere else to live in Canada, but we get rain.
Yeah.
So,
it's true.
Yeah. All right, thanks for joining us.
Anyway. Okay. Well, maybe I'll start with a really exciting announcement, actually.
Do it.
So today we're just releasing a new collaboration project for you guys to get involved in. We're going to be doing a Singeo virtual Christmas choir, again, just like we did last year. You can watch the results of last year's. I believe it's in the quick tips section if you look in there. So we're going to be singing Here Comes Santa Claus. We're going with the backing track that's actually in our songs library already. It's the Doris Day version from 1949. So you can watch our announcement right now. It should be up as of 10 o'clock. And there's 3 parts. So you can pick whatever part's most comfortable for your range. They're not vastly different. The first part is, so sing along with Lisa to learn it. It's the melody, but then there's some gaps where you just have to be silent and wait for the other part to sing. And then part 2 is probably the lowest part. And then part 3 is a little bit higher. Both of the parts 2 and 3 every now and again get to sing the melody, so there's a bit of a back and forth, and some harmony. So we have sheet music for you written out so you can learn it. We have Lisa and myself singing the parts so you can hear them and sing along and learn them. And then it's, as with any other collaboration, film yourself singing it just with your audio, like with your voice on the audio, so no background track, so that we just have your voice in the audio. And if you need any help with any of it, please let us know. We'd be so happy to help you. But yeah, I can't wait.
It sounds festively educational.
Exactly. So you'll get a couple of weeks to work on that and send it in. I think the deadline is December 11th, and then we'll premiere that at a Christmas party, which will be really fun. Yeah.
All right.
So that's happening.
That sounds fun.
I wanted to show you something that I saw on social media this week. So I don't know how many of you follow Jacob Collier. He's a musician, singer, songwriter. Musicians are really into Jacob Collier. He's one of those people, rare people with absolute pitch, and he is just like a very strange being. He's just like fully himself. He's so creative and weird in the things that he creates. It's a real pleasure
Sounds
to
like
just
most
watch
of the
him.
staff around here.
Yeah. So I saw a video this week of him, because he's on tour right now. He's doing a world tour, actually. But he does one of those things that you may have seen before, where a person is just conducting a whole audience in singing. So they're all just singing notes, and he's conducting them, by kind of following his body language. So if we can roll that, it's really cool to watch. Insane. It's so good.
Insane asylum.
First of all, like just how in tune this many people can be all together, all at once, in unison, like not in unison,
synchronicity.
In unity. It's so incredible, and I think to be part of that crowd, like, it just feels so cool when it happens. There's something magical that happens when you're singing with other people. So just, really, really cool. And just how responsive people become, even just to the slightest movement, right? In terms of volume or pitch. There's another video where he makes he's conducting them in a semitone. He'll be up and down and up and down. He's like, oh, and they're doing it. It's really cool. They're just following his every movement.
Fun.
Kevin, what did you say? Kevin is saying, I met him once and he taught me about a skill called the super, ultra, hyper, mega, meta, Lydian scale. That's not a thing. I don't care if you're Jacob Collier. That's not a thing.
Lydian scale? No. That's a thing.
Super, ultra, hyper, mega, meta, Lydian scale. No, he was messing with you. That is...
But there is a Lydian scale.
Of course, yeah.
Lydian mode.
That's so good. Yeah, Bobby McFerrin did a similar thing. Also really, really cool to watch. No, Kevin says, I swear that's a real scale.
Let's hear it.
There are over
Record that scale
9,000
and send it to us.
semitones in that scale. Yeah, I can imagine that somebody with like absolute pitch and a really, really well-trained ear can hear so many more
dynamic range
notes in the scale for sure. Okay, so what I didn't know when I saw this first video is that he is just training his audience to record the next video you're going to see, because he had everyone in the crowd. So I mean, he's recording the audience choir, but then he also had everyone in the crowd record themselves on their phone just singing a single word. And so he said there was over like 100,000 voices, 10,000 videos, and he edited it all together into a video of a song that you know really well. So have a listen. So incredible.
Stellar.
So now you had that whole audience choir and everyone's singing like a single word and filming themselves. It's just so cool and so beautifully reharmonized too. Have you ever been part of a choir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can highly recommend it. Not like that. Yeah. There's those, have you ever heard of those shows? It's just a project called Choir, and they tour, and it's basically this. There's always an audience choir in like a venue, and they just teach you right on the spot, and then record it. It's also, really cool. I can highly recommend being part of a choir if you ever can. Doesn't even have to be a good choir. It'll make you a better singer because it'll train your ear to listen to other parts while you're holding your part. It'll train your, your sight reading, your reading in general, and it'll get you singing. So that's my plug for choirs all over the world.
You can acquire this skill.
Yes. Great. Thank you.
I always have to put in my...
And join our virtual Singeo choir, of course. Please. We'd love to have as many people be part of that as possible. That would be so awesome. Cool. So, what should we do now? I think we should sing. Would you lead us in a warm-up?
I would lead us in a warm-up.
Yet?
Okay.
Do you guys want to sing? Okay.
We'll start in the basement for the boys.
Okay.
We're going to do a lip trill. Remember, your tongue is attached to your bottom teeth. You're going to make a shape of an like book. And you can lower your larynx if need be. We're going to anchor the bottom note. And then see how it's low enough for me that it doesn't really come out, right?
Right. It's just a grumble there.
Yeah,
But
we
that's
don't
fine.
care. We're going to
Yeah.
keep ascending. Girls can do an octave above. Tenors and altos. Keep the breath flow steady. Guys might want to go a little bit bratty on the top now. While the girls take over. But then we could go down and we could stay there. We could negotiate transitions. But that's like a gentle warm-up. Activating the vocal folds. We get a little vasodilation.
What does that mean?
Well, it's where when we use this sort of resisted exercise, we get blood flow through the vocal mechanism, which it increases blood flow in there. It's called vasodilation, dilating the white blood cells, I believe.
Okay.
And it wakes everything up. So the little intrinsic muscles, they get woken up. And they're like, hello, it's time to sing.
Okay. Can we do something else?
Yeah, we could. I really only like doing non-articulate exercises to warm up.
Yeah.
There's no need to engage in that dynamic. So if we did the, if you have a straw, add that. Extend the vocal tract, tongue on bottom teeth, fill those cheeks with mashed potatoes. So we're going to be quite aggressive with this one. Feel the core engage. There we go. So if you can do that, you have enough breath. The breath is flowing enough, you can do that exercise. If you get a little dizzy, I am.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's a lot of breath moving, right?
If people ever, often people comment on their breath exercises and they're like, oh, I'm getting lightheaded. Are they doing it wrong?
Not necessarily, no. I mean, this is a fairly aggressive exercise and it's demanding of the breath. So if you can make it last for the duration of that scale, then you have enough breath. You typically wouldn't use that much breath in one line of a song.
Not really.
No.
Pretty rarely. Yeah.
So you have enough breath. If you're alive, you have enough breath, right? I mean, obviously there's exceptions to every rule. There's people with conditions, asthma, or such that sort of inhibits the ability to regulate breath. But in general, most people have enough.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about breath, let's talk about breath.
Let's talk about it.
Our title for
Wait a
today's
second.
session is like, can I increase my lung capacity? Is that even a thing? Can we train our lungs to operate better, maybe more efficiently?
I think that's a better answer, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so exactly. I think efficiency is probably the key word here. Obviously, you can't change the size of your lungs, right? The size of your lungs will never be this, like, will never change.
Right.
And there's a lot of imagery that we use in singing when we talk about the breath, like, oh, breathe like deep down into your belly, or I've definitely uttered the words.
Diaphragmatic.
I've definitely uttered the words like breathe right into the floor, or so your breath goes into your lungs. Your diaphragm is your main breathing muscle that sits right underneath your lungs, underneath your rib cage, and it's like a dome-shaped muscle. And when you breathe in, it flattens, and therefore it kind of creates this like vacuum in your lungs.
Breath. It pulls the lungs down.
Exactly, and that's what makes you breathe in. It's a completely natural and unconscious process. You don't have to force anything. It will happen naturally.
Let's talk about the diaphragm just for a second. So the diaphragm I like to call an involuntary, voluntary muscle. So it keeps you alive while you're sleeping, helps you hiccup, helps you vomit. It's great for that. If you intentionally work the diaphragm so that hooded muscle, it gets pulled down, it increases or can increase the compression of the air in the lungs. So you have the ability to, now just to give you an example, you have the ability to produce 200 watts of power with the diaphragm, whatever that means, 200 pounds, $200, 200 bricks. The little tiny vocal mechanism can only comfortably resist 2 watts of power. So if you work on breathing without working on the adduction or the cord closure and the ability for that to resist that breath flow, you're going to have problems. You're going to blow this out before you give this a chance to build up resistance that can take whatever breath is required. Now, we don't necessarily need a lot of breath. We just need breath. Let me give you an example. I think I've talked about this before. I have a balloon. If I fill that balloon with air and I release the end, that's like chest voice. We can easily feed the large vibrating mass of the vocal folds in chest voice. That's what happens. We spend the breath faster in chest voice. Fill the balloon up again and pinch the end. No air will even come out until you right? So you're not pushing, you're providing that resistance. So the balance in how much medial or medium compression you expel to the vocal mechanism is dependent on how the vocal cords can resist and how comfortably. Because if you have to apply more breath just to activate the vocal cords, there's a problem anyways. Right? So, but granted, as we go from chest voice into head voice or the higher position and those vocal cords converge, they actually get longer and smaller. The cartilage is enabled. There's more natural tension. So yes, we might need to have a little bit more breath, but it's not as so much because if you just put your hand in front of your mouth, count out loud to 10 in chest voice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How much breath do you feel?
Very little.
Yeah, you might feel little puffs
Yeah.
from the P's and the whatnot.
Yeah.
Now, if you did it in head voice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How much breath do you feel?
I mean, also very little. I don't know.
Sometimes even less,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's not that we need a lot of breath to come out. We need to have a lot of breath stored so we have resistance value.
Right. I think so. That's the one thing that we can really work on as singers. It's not about, how do I take a bigger breath? It's actually like the storage of the breath and then the like really intentional release.
The distribution of it.
The distribution.
Yeah.
So that we don't, when we're singing, we're not going, like the balloon that just goes,
And it's done.
It's like,
Now you're out of breath.
Think of your breath as like a controlled stream of air, like we're singing when we're doing the puffy cheeks. It's just, imagine you could see it.
Yeah. Now here's the thing, like the straw or the puffy cheeks or a lip trill, those are exercises that provide resistance. And then what happens is the acoustical energy comes back to the vocal cords, balancing them and squaring up the cords a little bit more so we get a bigger, more connected sound with actually less breath. right? So that's how we can develop or habituate that connected sound. You can, though, it's always good for singers to be active. Cycling, swimming, running, anything that, will increase your usage of the breath machine, the lungs, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're in a sedentary lifestyle at a desk, you're not breathing deep. You're not inhaling. You might have to yawn every now and then. So if you get out there and exercise, those lungs are going to get exercised, and that's primarily what it's for. Blood flow through the whole system now, much like what we get with the vasodilation here, right? So I highly recommend doing some sort of physical activity. If not daily, at least 3 times a week.
Yeah, I think, what was it? I read some sort of the Lung Institute or whatever. They recommend 30 minutes of light exercise, moderate exercise, 5 times a day, 5 times a week. Sorry, to actually increase your lung capacity, which really basically talks about the ability for your lungs to transport the oxygen from the air into your bloodstream to your muscles.
Yeah, and guess what? This is your instrument.
Yeah.
So feed it now. On that note, if we had to pick an exercise that would promote breath, a good functioning flow of breath that's not going to hinder the balance of the voice, breath, vocal cord, and vowels, because vowels is primarily where most of your challenges lie once the air and the muscle, the breath and the vocal cord can make noise. So if we picked an exercise that had a resistance value like because you can sing that, and just for demonstration purposes, we'll go fairly easy to do, right? How many times can you do it?
Bunch of times.
Right? So do you need that much breath in a song?
Usually not.
No, I would say not, unless you're doing, the Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
But so then to increase that and to give yourself an exercise, we're going to pick a vowel that will give us a nice acoustic back pressure to the vocal folds, say like a rounded E. E. Right? So we're going to go... Right? Now, that's a fairly nice line. Now, how long could you repeat that?
We'll see. Oh no!
I'm out. Right?
Okay.
Right? Now, the idea is eventually when we start to balance the shaping of each vowel, let's say the 5 primaries, E, A, A, O, U, you should be able to do humming before and after each vowel on one breath. Right?
Okay.
And it's
that'd be
early,
a really
but
good exercise.
so you take you don't have to gasp, you just fill your lungs. I do it a lot.
Nice.
I do this exercise a lot. And then you can, of course, modulate. And now you have to be careful with this one, though, because you don't want the vowels to get skewed either. So it's safe to pick rounded E or even O. And then what you're going to find is you may not get as loud of a presentation as you would with an right? But we don't care about that. We're worried about balancing that resistance and the whole thing. And you'll find over time you'll be able to apply more and more breath into this equation.
I really like that exercise because I think, like you said, breathing exercises alone, they're good. And we can talk about some, but they get boring really fast because you're not singing anything.
Well, and that's the problem.
And it's
so you're not engaging the chords, so you're not using the instrument.
I think so. It's like to some degree it almost becomes silly to just practice breathing without the vocal cords being active at the same time. Yeah, it's like you can't talk about one without the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and there are exceptions. People that just aren't. They're not moving the breath, and it's just kind of a good sign would be a vocal fry. There's not enough breath there.
Yeah.
Right. So the breath flow has to increase a little bit, but it could be that the vocal cords are too tight. The closure of the cords. It's too tight. So therein lies the balance. So source, breath, and vocal cords has to be balanced. So using an exercise like this will allow us to practice the feed, the flow, right?
Right.
And you don't have to go crazy with it. Now, E and U are obviously really good vowels because number one, E promotes chord closure, and E likes to live in head voice.
Right.
Right? So, and then moving the breath through there. So before you begin working or expanding your lung capacity, be sure you have access to your formants, your vowels, right? So, because it's when the vocal cords get smaller that you're going to feel the natural tension and the tends to want to push when you just have to provide and let it happen. So everything has to be balancing and balancing and balancing. I haven't drifted too far, have I?
No. What was the word you said earlier that I didn't know? Was it something? What do you call it? Pharyngeal something?
Oh well, it's inertive reactance. Well, and it involves inertia, the flow of breath. Now, when you have a resisted factor like a we're getting the acoustic energy is now coming back to the vocal cords. This helps balance the larynx. It helps balance the vibration of the cords. We balance the negative pressure above the cords to the positive pressure subglottal from the lungs. And once that is balanced, then we can make noises easier. We can make it flow easier. It's much like a venturi. You know what a venturi is? So you have natural gas or propane coming into your barbecue.
Okay.
And there's just a little tube that winds up to the burners.
Okay.
And it's not being pushed into that. Once you open the valve, light the flame, it draws that in. If you turn up the valve, it'll draw more gas in. Same thing with the voice. When you are balanced, it will just pull it out of you.
It's a good picture. The tank is no one's squeezing the
No one's squeezing the tank. No, we might open the tank a little bit more, but no one's forcing, no one's pushing, no one's shoving.
really like that
One of my
picture.
biggest peeves is when people say, "I can't hit the note."
I know, Darcy.
You shouldn't even hit anything. Hit implies excessive force. Go to the note, right? This is your highest note when you start singing. This is your highest note after 2 months of Singeo.
Sure. Agree to disagree. I just don't have a problem. I just don't see any aggressive.
Well, hit
pictures.
me. Hit me, right? Or hey, go to me.
I don't know.
Right? I can go to you.
But like hitting
Or
a
I can
note, like hitting a target. I feel like
Okay,
it
well
doesn't
that's
have to
different.
be an aggressive.
So then
picture,
let's
but-
aim for the note.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
It just implies, you know how powerful your brain is. Like when you say something out loud, like my little drumstick story this morning, I called that into being, right?
Tell it again, because the people deserve.
Okay, well, right now in our very Musora studios, we have Tommy Aldrich is working. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this now. Sure. He's working with Drumeo next door.
These people all have access to Drumeo now.
So Drumeo, so Tommy Aldrich was a drummer for Whitesnake at one point. And I went to a Whitesnake concert and with my band, and we were standing about 15 rows center. And I knew that Tommy's going to do a drum solo, and I know that when during his drum solo, he throws out the stick. So I said to my drummer, I yelled in his ear, "I'm going to catch the drumstick." And he laughed. Not long later, it goes up in the air. I put my hand back like this, and I kid you not, it fell right into my hand. Did I call that into being? I don't know.
Wow, you manifested that.
I manifested that.
Happened.
But I'm a big believer in that. I'm going to do this. And you have to tell yourself what you're going to do, and then your brain will. Because if you go, "I'm not sure if I can do this," well, guess what? You're right. You're right. You're not sure.
Right.
Even if you don't know how it's going to happen, and with the voice, we know there's 3 areas of concentration. We know that if we focus on 1, 2, and 3, and collectively, we know something's going to happen. I mean, I'm sure everyone in Singeo can say they've got benefit from something in this program. Whether they've found complete balance yet, I've been doing this my entire life, and I'm old, you know. So I mean, and I'm still working at it. I'm still training. I'm still looking at ways to make it easier for me and my clients. So I digressed again. I know. I'm sorry.
Back to the breath. So as a singer, if you want to just think about engaging your breathing muscles when you sing, that's a really great way to kind of start your warm-up, is with something that engages your core. So it could be one of those semi-occluded vocal tract exercises,
non-articulate,
like the bubble or the puffy cheeks, or anything that where you really kind of feel your core engage. If you can stand, great. If you're sitting, at least sit on the edge of your chair so that you have access to your breathing muscles. If you're somebody that plays guitar, resist the urge to like slouch over your instrument. It's not great.
You can sit as long as you don't slouch.
Yeah, exactly. Sing's fine. If you want, you can do one of those long.
Oh, those are great. And you know what it does?
Just to like wake up your
deplete the air
muscles.
And then what happens is it's like your core does this. It creates a vacuum. So when you then have the mental demand to inhale, you're going to, and it's going to drop the breath further and further. Now, if you find that your chest is lifting a lot when you breathe as a singer, that is detrimental to balanced singing.
Yeah.
We call it clavicle breathing. So what you could do is take a small book or a binder, put it at your navel, your belly button, and when you exhale, and do this through the mouth, this should go in. When you inhale through the nose, this should come out. And don't worry if it gives you a little paunch or belly. That's fine. You're training. What you're training is that diaphragmatic breathing without tremendous amounts of compression.
Yeah, that is what diaphragmatic breathing is. We are engaging our diaphragm in the process of breathing. Try to resist the urge to go.
Yeah,
we don't
drop
want
those shoulders.
We don't want your chest to rise. If you're breathing in here, chances are all these muscles we're adding extra tension when we don't want tension, and this is generally going to be a shallower breath, and we want a deep down low breath.
And the shallow breath activates the extrinsic muscles, these outside muscles, which have nothing to do with your voice other than constricting it.
And there is some science behind so one of the greatest exercises is that long S, or just anywhere where you're breathing in and you're breathing out really, really slowly over a long period of time. So you can do that with the exercises that we have in that lesson on the breath. But just if you just breathe it out, as long as you can hold it, it's a great exercise to just remind ourselves of what we're doing.
And keep the volume the same.
Yeah.
So
Megan posted something on the Singeo Facebook group where you should join us, by the way, if you haven't already. But it's just a post from somebody saying, random mental health fact, the reason singing is so good for our mental health, besides also being enjoyable, is that when we sing, our exhale is significantly longer than our inhale. And this sends a signal to our nervous system that we are not in danger. And I think there's some real truth to that when we're taking really little shallow breaths, that creates stress, and literally our nervous system thinks there is stress. I need to respond to this. There's danger. We're running. Versus when we're exhaling longer than we're inhaling, in general, it's calming for your body. It produces lots of beautiful happiness hormones, and we feel at peace, and it's good for your brain. It does all these good things for you. So that's one of the reasons why singing is so good for us.
And by inhaling through the nose, you're able to take a deeper breath. You can drop the breath farther down, and exhaling through the mouth, it also stimulates the soft palate.
What is that? Why?
I had a vocal surgeon tell us that inhaling through the nose, it's the physiology of it drops the breath further than if you inhale through the mouth. Maybe it perhaps is because you're taking less in, because when you open your mouth. You see my chest lifted, right? Through the nose, my belly fills.
It's true.
Right? And if you've ever watched a baby breathe, the belly fills first, then the chest drops, then the belly. It's totally balanced, uninhibited breathing. They have no stress, they have no worries, anxiety, fear, other than when do I eat next? And then we grow up and we get stifled with stress and worries and woes, and we forget how to breathe. And so singing, we need to learn how to sometimes rebreathe. We need to learn sometimes how to rephrase, and we need to learn how to open and close the chords. So it's a juggling act.
Okay. It's a good discussion.
Join the circus. Become a
To
singer.
talk about. Yes. Okay. You know what? Let's take a break from all our talking.
Yes.
We'll do something really special here. I would love to show you the first of 2 videos of our most recent duet roulette. So we're like nearly done the second video. We had a bunch of technical difficulties. So you're going to get to see one today, and you're going to get to see the next one next week. And that's just how it's going to be.
She's putting down the law.
So please enjoy.
I know I stand in line until you think you have the time to spend an evening with me.
If we go someplace to dance, I know that there's a chance you won't be leaving with me.
And afterwards we drop into a quiet little place and have a drink or two.
And then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like I love you.
I can see it in your eyes that you despise the same old lies you heard the night before.
And though it's just a line to you, for me it's true, I never seen so right before.
Practice every day to find some clever lines to say to make the meaning come true. But then I think I'll wait until the evening gets late and I'm alone with you.
The time is right, your perfume fills my head, the stars get red and all the nights so blue.
And then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like I love you.
The time is right, your perfume fills my head, the stars get red and all the night so blue.
And then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
that just so
Every
nice?
time I turn around. Very
Don't
well
you
done.
wish now you had been part of it?
Yeah, I do. I feel left out.
Yeah, everyone's like, who's
Neglected.
this Lisa person? Lisa is on vacation. We don't even remember her. She's been gone for too long. 2 days already.
2 days, yeah.
Oh
having
my
fun.
gosh, this is so great. So if you didn't see yourself in that one, you'll see yourself in the next one, and we'll release those for you to watch on the site. But these are just so fun. Again, singing with people is like one of the most rewarding things, and this is one of the ways that we can facilitate you guys singing together with us, even though we are spread out all across the corners of the earth. So,
We are, aren't we?
yeah.
We're
so
a
it's
global
really cool.
phenomenon.
Mike says, now that's some editing skills.
Who did the editing, Jack?
Jesus over here did the editing.
Yeah.
Yes. Big shout out and thank you so much. Jesus, you did an awesome job. That's right. You can also do more of these on Smool. You can find us on Smool. So Lisa just joined as well. So there's an account called Singeo Lessons. And that'll be our new official account, and we actually will get to do a little bit of like small instructional videos for the whole community on Smool, which is going to be so cool. So
I don't have Smool.
yeah, it's just a karaoke app. It's free if you want to join. If you want to join others, yeah, cool.
Maybe I will.
Here we
I'm thinking about
It's
it.
fun.
now.
I mean, honestly, if you just want to get singing, like it just gets you singing songs, which is, as much as exercises are very, very important, if we only do exercises, often we just run out of steam because it just gets boring sometimes. So singing songs or just having fun sometimes can be.
Yeah, the transition
thing
from
you need.
exercise to song is a leap.
It is a leap, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
But it's why we're here.
Okay. Someone's saying excellent work, Jesus.
Yeah. Kudos
Thanks, Jesus.
already. He's starting his Facebook page now.
Okay, so here's a question from Damien. I always listen to music when I'm walking or like doing gym work, and I often find myself trying to sing along, even when I'm out of breath. I now think it actually helps develop my breath control for
does.
singing. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I worked with some clients that were, they had dance routines when they performed. And she'd work with me in the studio, and we'd do the exercises, and then when she would go home and run the treadmill at a pace, so she could sing it without all the gasping.
Yeah.
It's a trick. It's an art.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
I've watched a ton of people prepare for gigs that way.
You're an
Very
athlete
hard.
for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if you got dance routines.
Yeah.
But what it does, like we were talking about earlier, just getting the breath flowing.
Yeah.
Now you add vocalizing on top of that. Ooh, we get some serious juggling control.
It'd be very difficult. Yeah.
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 Splendid.
Very interesting. But yeah, so maybe sing while you're walking the dog to
Do it.
practice, or while you're jogging
Actually,
or
I worked
swimming.
with a client that walks her dog, and we used to do the exercises on the trail.
Oh yeah,
And she'd have to stop when people were passing by.
I do that too. I'll sing when I'm outside walking. Yeah. Okay, let's see. See if there's other questions here.
Questions.
There was
I like questions.
Yeah, send your questions in if you have them. But so there was one that was actually sent in ahead of time from AJ. So I'm trying to figure out how to balance my voice, specifically going into a head voice smoothly. I can make that transition if I focus on going from chest to mix to head, but to get to mix, I think my larynx moves up. Is it supposed to? I noticed when I sing in mixed voice, my throat feels quite tired after, but not always. I guess my question is, how should mix and head voice feel compared to head voice?
My question is,
So male singer.
what are you singing? Because it's going to depend on the vowel as well.
When he says, I can be both like a chest puller or flipper.
Okay, but if you're pulling on an ah, that makes sense. If you're pulling on an ooh, that doesn't make sense, right?
So maybe you choose the right vowel to help you.
Yeah.
negotiate
So
that
like the rounded e is a good one. So for fellas. So if we went geek, right? So then you'll find your way in, and it doesn't have to be aggressive, right? And then you can, because you're balancing not only the muscles of chest to head and the usage thereof, because in mix they're both going to be active, but you're also balancing the position of the larynx, the tilt. If it gets too high, it could promote a pull. Depending on the vowel. If it gets too low, then it's not gonna be as balanced as you want it. So at some point there has to be give and take in the position of the larynx too. If it feels like you've just worked it out, if you can, your Adam's apple is if after you've done your routine and you feel it here and not under your chin, that's a good thing, because intrinsic strain, or the strain of the inside here, you're going to feel tension of these muscles as a puller. But if you feel it here, that means we may have gotten a good workout. So then maybe you just need to rebalance it with some SOVTs or a lip trill to rebalance it. And those are great exercises to walk your way through the transition. Don't worry about going too high. Get into the transition, come back down. Get into the transition, just massage it up and down.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying my voice feels quite tired after.
It could be that it's too much, too long.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to digest it, and you have to. It's a patience process. You have to engage and rest, and then engage and rest, engage and rest, and you'll find that because the muscles of the vocal cords, they can't. It has to be a tensile resistance. It has to be flexible. It can't be like working your body, building biceps, rip, tear, rest. We can't do that with the voice. So you're limited by your body and how much it can take and for how long.
Right.
So I would maybe shorten the exercises, maybe even nice little warm up, engage, and then maybe reset with the bubble and then engage. You can do that for 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then come back to it. I would really like to hear what vowel it is, though.
Feel free to send in the exercises that you're doing for student review, and one of us can have a look at it and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Help you out with your transition. Cool. Tony was asking, you said about breathing through your nose. Is that why they teach you to breathe through your nose when doing yoga? Probably.
Could be, probably.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Now, just as a disclaimer here, when you're singing, you don't have to breathe in through the nose and out. You can take oxygen however you have to, depending on what you're saying and how you're saying it, how emotionally charged it is or isn't, right? There's just no need to gasp.
Right.
Take the breath. You know, it could be like, oh, look at that. That could be enough. It doesn't. You don't have to worry about just feeling that, because that's going to be of detriment as well.
Yeah, actually, sometimes when you breathe in too much air, it almost like becomes an obstacle to your singing, because now there's like too much pressure against the vocal cords, and then that's bad.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. So,
okay,
and it just needs to be balanced. You have enough. The line is not that long, right? And if you don't, it could be something else that's in the way, not the vocal instrument.
Okay, so speaking of breathing in through the nose, Kay Fox is asking, Darcy mentioned the soft palate. Should we be focused at all on the soft palate, or is it sort of like the diaphragm where the action is just kind of a byproduct of balancing breath, vowels, vocal cords?
Yeah. The thing is, I know classically, right, they talk a lot about the soft palate.
In classical singing, the space you're trying to create is between the larynx and the soft palate. So that space you want to make nice and long. So when you're like yawning or when you're going, like that happens naturally, where the soft palate lifts and then the larynx kind of lowers. And then you have this nice column back here where really this becomes your resonating space for the sound. Right. If you lift your soft palate too high, then often like the sound becomes kind of pharyngeal, or especially maybe in pop music, we don't really necessarily want that sound. But a lazy soft palate can often be responsible for singing becoming nasal when the air suddenly diverts into the nose because we haven't closed that part. So you can kind of become aware of it and just see if you can move it. So it's like your soft palate is the back top part of your mouth. So
can you do this? That's the soft palate in the back of the tongue.
Yeah.
Right? That is the soft palate. Now you can put your tongue on the roof of your mouth behind your teeth.
That's your hard palate.
Drag your tongue as far back as you can. You'll begin to feel where the hard palate and the soft palate connect.
Yeah.
So now the thing about, you don't really, if you're balancing the larynx in the way of a dopey sound or a bratty sound, so you're able to lower and lift the larynx at the right time, you will get the soft palate will do what it's supposed to do. Yeah. It's also dependent on what you're saying, what vowel shape, what formant.
Right.
That's a whole other series in itself.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's kind of interesting.
Julia will do that next week.
I don't know. Okay. So Garrett just got here. So he's asking, how do I not feel like I'm going to pass out or black out when I'm singing sometimes?
Is it exercise or is it song?
Right. What's causing that? Let us know if you're in the chat.
Exercise or song? I
wonder if you're doing too much. I wonder if you're taking way too deep a breath, and if you're trying to just hold it for way too long. I wonder if you're just overdoing the breathing exercises, maybe.
Yeah, because when you talk, breath comes in, breath comes out.
We don't pass out while we're talking.
We don't pass out while we're talking.
And if you're singing without thinking too much about it, you
get really excited, and suddenly you have to use more breath.
Yeah.
You don't pass out.
Yeah. So what are you doing differently?
Something is being overdone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to find out what that is.
Okay.
Call now.
Yes, let us know if you're still here. Let me see. Iris is saying, in my choir, my experience is that I often don't have enough air when I'm singing. So there is an expectation to be able to sing a whole sentence, like 8 bars of 4/4. What can you recommend for me to do?
4/4. 8 bars of 4.
That would be a very long time.
That's a very long. That's a very long
8
line.
bars is too long.
That's kind of what we were doing earlier, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need that much.
I mean, in a choir, you can always cheat it, right? Choir singing is like you just take a tiny
Watermelon,
breath while
watermelon.
somebody else is holding that note. It's harder when you're singing by yourself and there's nowhere to hide, right? If you're taking your breath, everyone's gonna know. That sounds like too long of a phrase.
Again, what are you saying? Where are you saying it in the register?
Yeah,
Very important details.
If there is a long phrase coming up and the expectation is that you should be able to sing that whole long phrase on one breath, my advice is just to be really well prepared, like to know that that phrase is coming so that you have the time to breathe in as much air as you need before and kind of just be conscious with your breath and just be conscious with how much you're letting out. So maybe it means making everything a little bit smaller and not letting go of as much.
If you're depleting too much breath too, that's
right. Maybe that's it. The other thing you can do to practice a long phrase on one breath is actually just to bubble it. I am always surprised that with the bubble, I can sing that long phrase, no problem, and I will have air left over at the end. And so
inertive reactance.
Right, so then I'll go back and sing it. And it's like, oh, I actually can do that. Yes, I can do it. So I don't know. So maybe just some ways to practice that. Yeah.
There's so much to it. And, I'd like to just add, if you have questions like this, it's really good for us to know what you're saying, as in what word or vowel shape. What were you saying before it? What's coming up after it? And where in the register it is? Because these are things that can help. Sometimes it's what you're doing before the actual area of concern. And it would help us to know that so we can direct you properly, point you in the right direction.
Okay, there's a question from Achman. I don't know if we can answer this. He's asking about subharmonic bass register. Is that really a thing? Should I avoid the techniques I watched? I'm trying to expand in the lower range just for fun.
Who's
I don't know. Agma.
Agma, yeah. I think I saw he sent me something online.
Yeah, he sent it to you on Instagram, I think. So I don't know much about a subharmonic bass register, but maybe we can talk about how to expand range lower, I guess.
Well, to expand range lower, what we want to do is go middle register down. Now, this thing I was talking about for all the vocal nerds, if you wanted to talk about something, a scientific application, we're talking about resonance, right? And we're talking about how a resisted sound comes back to the vocal folds. It becomes an inertive reaction, if you will, to keep the vocal cords coming together squarely and to provide that Venturi effect where it takes less energy to create a bigger sound. So you're not going to be able to do this by forcing the vocal cords together. And I can demonstrate. I'm a lyrical tenor. So this note is really low for me. If I try to keep the chords together, it just starts to growl, right? I have to move breath. I can make those notes now. They're not very loud, but those notes are being produced and the chords are oscillating in such a way that they're free to do it. So to these subharmonic things that you're getting into, I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure it's almost anomalistic, I don't know. It's difficult. And I'm sure there's ways to do it. Agma, I am going to look at that link that you sent me because I know that singers can do amazing things. But if you want to increase your range lower, middle register down is the key, right? Not stressed, but balanced with breath and vocal cords. So,
good. Okay, well, that was a good
Google
discussion.
Google it, inertive reactance.
Okay, inertive reactance.
You're going to go down a rabbit hole of doom.
So enough talking, Darcy.
I'm done.
I want to celebrate our student of the week for this week. This is a person you and I both know very well because he's been preparing for a gig in December that he's got coming up, and he's been sending in student reviews by the dozens.
Oh, I know who this is.
So
I
his
know
name
who
is
it is.
Ray. He's been doing just so well. He's been working really hard on his performance. He's got a whole bunch of songs he's practicing, and I just wanted to show you he's just doing so well. It's really inspiring. So here's a little bit of our student every week, Ray.
Ray! Hooray!
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to that same old place, sweet home Chicago. Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Heidi, hey, baby, don't you wanna go back to that same old place, sweet home Chicago? Well, 1 and 1 is 2, 6 and 2 is 8. Come on, baby, don't you make me late. Heidi, hey, baby, don't you wanna go back to that same old place, sweet home Chicago? Come on, baby,
Don't you wanna go?
Yeah,
Sweet
he's doing
home
so
Chicago.
well. Okay, so congratulations, Ray. You're doing so awesome. I just thought everyone deserved to see your hard work.
Yeah, well done.
And you're ready for your gig. You're doing really well. So, yeah, cool. Okay, a couple more announcements I have to let you know. So our winter recital is happening on December 17th. It's going to be a
Ooh.
Saturday. And it'll be totally different this time because
my anniversary.
we're actually doing, oh yeah, nice. You can celebrate by watching an all-day live stream, which is
All
going to be
day.
so it's going to be all the brands together. You're going to see people from Drumeo and Piano and Guitario and Singeo. You can send in your song. Now, there's no more like time requirement because we're just going to stream it on YouTube all day. And yeah,
Fun
so
while you're decorating the tree.
record anything you like. It could be a Christmas song or not. It could be a scale if you're really proud of it. Send that in to us. And yeah, can't wait what you all prepare. It's going to be so awesome.
Fun.
The other really exciting thing that's happening is that Singeo is doing a giveaway, and this is the biggest one we've ever done. So it's this whole kit. You're getting like a microphone, and you're getting our brand new swag that we're making for Black Friday, and I think there's headphones. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So I think it's actually $2,000 worth of stuff we're giving away, which is just insane. So everyone that is a Singeo member gets an entry already, just so you know. So you're all entered into the giveaway. And it launches tomorrow. Just gonna be.
It launches. Did we select tomorrow?
No. So we're starting the giveaway tomorrow, basically. It's public, so anyone can enter, but everyone in Singeo is getting an entry anyway. So, yeah.
Fun.
Okay, I think we should wrap it up with a song.
With a song. Sung blue?
What?
Song sung
Oh, I don't know.
blue,
Ah.
everybody know. No, that's. I think that's Neil Diamond.
Okay, let's do this. Should I play or do you?
You
want to-
play.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not playing
Okay.
piano.
Okay, let's switch. Switch around.
All right. Gather round, everyone. What have we done? Uptown girl, she's been living in her uptown world. I bet I never had a backstreet guy. I bet her mama never told her why. I'm gonna try for an uptown girl. She's been living in a white bread world as long as anyone with blood can. Now I'm looking for a downtown man. That's what she is.
And when she knows what she wants from her time, and when she wakes up and makes up her mind, she'll see I'm not so tough just because I'm in love with
An uptown girl, you know I need her in her uptown world. She's getting tired a choice.
That was so much fun. Okay, I hope you sang along.
I've never sung that before.
No. Well, I sang this on small ones. That's the extent of it, I think.
Smoothly.
So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Go enter the Singeo choir. That collaboration is going to be fun to sing together. And other than that, have a great week.
And you know the drill. Singeo well.